So the scenario is just you versus one-on-one. Let's name those infinite amount of techniques. So anybody, shout something out for me. Shove. Bear hug, yes indeed.
Choke.
I'm trying not to, but I'm getting my flow. Oh, sorry, gotcha. Yep.
Punch. Kick. Punch. Headbutt. Eye gouge. Grab.
Grab.
Careful.
Good.
Waist tackle.
Waist tackle.
Knee.
Thank you.
Double.
As in double leg?
Palm strike.
Palm, okay.
Elbow.
Elbow.
Tackle.
So let's start considering some other things now. It says at the top there, incredible attacks. We're interested in credible attacks. What are the chances of you being clotheslined by somebody? If you're not wearing a leotard and you're in a ring with somebody. It may happen, but how many times have you seen a clothesline in real life? Okay, not that common. Okay. Now, once we've looked at things that aren't likely to happen, generally speaking, think about which one of these would start a fight. There are always exceptions, but generally speaking, if I said to you like 9 times out of 10 or more, so assign a value to this, a primary attack that starts a fight or a secondary attack that continues the fight. Generally speaking, would something like a shove start a fight? Okay. Bear hug? Depends. It's a grab of sorts. It's some sort of surprise. So it's a grab of sorts. Okay? What a choke? Yeah, it could be. What is a choke though? It's a grab. So we've got leg grab up there and grab here. So grab. If the person grabs your lapel, or they grab your throat, or they grab your hair, do you need a different methodology to defend against that? Do you need something completely separate? But he's grabbed 2 inches higher than, or an inch across. It's the same basic mechanical movement in terms of a grab. So we can start looking at this and think, well actually, do you know what? A choke is a grab to the throat. Now whether it's a grab to the throat or lapel, it's the same. So let's look at grab and say, would we agree that grab is primary? Yeah, doesn't matter what they're grabbing, okay? It's the same trajectory. In a similar manner, a punch, do I need a separate defense to a punch if it's a closed fist to an open hand? Oh, my closed fist defense, my open hand defense. It's the same range of movement, agreed? So straight away, I don't have to worry about what that person's hand's doing. It's an arm swinging around towards me. What about a kick? Is that likely to start the fight or continue the fight? Most commonly. Primary or secondary? Secondary. That's not to say fights never start from kicks, but for every fight that you show me starting with a kick, I'll show you 10 that start with a punch. Generally speaking in fights, where do kicks occur? At the end when the person's on the ground. Okay, generally speaking. What about a punch? Primary. Generally speaking, 9 times out of 10, is that punch going to be a straight type attack or a shitty haymaker? More commonly, a shitty haymaker. What else have we already seen this morning that is going to help stop or minimize that risk of that straight strike coming through? Mirroring physiology that is designed to push away danger and cover our head. Okay. What about a headbutt? Primary or secondary? Generally speaking, secondary after grab, but quite proudly in the UK, that's one of the most common. We'll keep it international though, so generally speaking, secondary. In the UK, that would be a primary attack. Okay. Eye gouge. Secondary, generally speaking, you're grabbing hold of the person in some way prior to applying an eye gouging type action. Generally. Biting. You should get some sort of flying bite attack, generally speaking. Secondary. Scratching. What do you usually have to have prior to scratching? Some sort of grab or degree of contact. Good. Hair pull. Not a problem, sir. He says, nailed it. Come on. You too, madam. No, sorry. Does it matter, again, I said before, if the grab's here or here or here? No. It's a commonality of movement there, common patterns of attack. What about a waist tackle? Tackling type action. If a bear hug goes a little bit lower, is that not a tackle of some sort? It can be. Okay. What about a knee strike? More often than not to say that fights never start from knee strikes, but generally speaking, if you're untrained outside of a sporting context, more often than not, they are secondary. They come after a grabbing type action. Double leg. Is that usually the thing that starts a fight in your experience, what you've seen? Or is it something that occurs during a fight? During, again, don't think sport context. Palm strike. How many people do you see using palm strikes in real fights? It's a straight strike, less common than a punch. It may happen, but if it does, it's going to be secondary, if it occurs at all. What an elbow? Primary, how many people do you see starting fights more commonly with elbows? Or are they more commonly after a grab has been put in and they start striking? Is it usually the thing you see starting a fight commonly? It may happen, but again, I think majority rule. Leg grab? Is a leg grab the first thing that person's going to do to have a pop at you? Not usually, secondary, after that target presents itself when you've been in a grapple, and then you grab a leg, most commonly. And finally, stomping. Yeah, why so?
I'm in.
Good, you need to have some sort of grab, or you need close proximity. So, let's look at what we've got so far, quick review. We've gone from an infinite number to 20-ish attacks, and of those, how many were really credible? Clotheslining, not really the sort of thing, it's like nipple cripple, you don't get it quite so much. These are the sort of things we might face. And of those, how many are more likely to start the fight? We've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, 4 or 5 primary initiation attacks, the things that you would commonly see starting fights. Remember what Coach Blauer said this morning? It's not what you believe, it's what you see.